And with us just sitting here, we've seen that particular report on the assessment of the just concluded general election by Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu. KANU is already holding a strategy meeting. Of course, we know that there are some eyes on the 2022 elections. Governor Mutua has already been sworn in, being the first governor to be sworn in. I'll start with you, Prof. You didn't really quite get to comment on on that report by Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu, so we can start from there.
Thank you, Akisa. First of all, I am happy to note that some of the obscure areas or unclear areas that people have been mentioning as a basis for a dispute are now coming out. And in that respect, Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu should be commended for producing information that we can interrogate and see whether, in fact, first of all, whether it has been objectively obtained, two, whether it has been objectively processed, and in order to give them the conclusions they were having. I had one reservation with their data. Looking at it in general, it was of value. However, I would have wanted the examples that were being given to be spread a bit out, because they talked about Kisumu and Kericho. If you look at that, it would have been more informative if they had collected information from Kitui that substantiates the same point, information from Kakamega that supports what they are saying. So I think that the interpretability of that data can become a little bit difficult to make objectively, because the data collected is geographically somewhat limited, and you could easily conclude that it was selected to serve a particular purpose other than to educate wananchi on what has happened as a way of helping us to get out of this hole. Two, first I want to congratulate KANU for having sort of shown resuscitation. For a long time, KANU has been saying the party of independence, but really politically, they have not come out to show some muscle. At least they are looking like they are past the first step of resuscitation, and they're beginning to look like an organized outfit. I was initially worried about the very stiff competition against some, particularly Gideon Moi, when you could see that he was targeted. But it's notable that he was able to do very, very well and come out smiling. All right, Prof.
Now, in respect of time, let's just quickly, because I would want all your closing remarks on NASA is expected to now go to court. We haven't really touched on that, and we're about to end the show, so I think that would be a good way. What do you expect to see as far as NASA's case is concerned in the Supreme Court?
Now, first of all, it is positive for the whole country that NASA has gone to court. Two, they have gone to court because they expect a full and comprehensive hearing, so that what they have got can be heard. What I think the basis for fear from other people has been the last time they had data, but they were told, don't unpack that data, otherwise. So it was spent, what the judgment last time was like, protect the country, protect the state. Now, in this particular case, what I think every decent voter is looking for, what do we gain by hearing them out and having a fair verdict, rather than interfering with the evidence so that you get an unfair verdict? Now, in my view, hearing them in full, in the open, will help us to understand that our judicial system has reformed and is able to handle matters, including sensitive ones like this one. So I would like to propose that other than the evidence that they had already put together to take to court, I believe the evidence that has been presented here
the civil society
can be harmonized together to what they have to add value or to improve on the believability of the evidence in court.
Okay. Kevin, for you, as we close.
For me, this is indeed a good step, because then you begin to look at the institutions, and in this case we are looking at the judiciary. In the next few days, Kenyans will be witnessing seriously protracted battles of wits and brains in the corridors of justice. And I think that we're looking at three things here. We're looking at peace, which has to be punctuated with justice, it has to be punctuated with the truth, and that ultimately we can be able to move on as a country. And my advice probably would be that as people are picking their evidence, they should just ensure that they do their homework properly and not rely on fake news and propaganda, because we can see what that is doing on our political environment and the platform. And I think people working towards ensuring that Kenyans are at loggerheads are not working at the interest and the goodwill, patriotically speaking, for this country.
Joseph, as a Nasalite, what do you expect from
You can just preempt what he is going to say.
No, but there are three issues that need to be addressed. And we need to understand that as people who supported Raila, we've lost some ground. IEBC has published itself, it has made pronouncements, and we are on the back pedal. I think with the deadline of Friday midnight, we needed to have published our own set of results. We needed to have been able to show our supporters in the court of public opinion that this is where we stand today. Not the cumulative figure, but constituency by constituency, this is what Raila did, then this is what IEBC announced, so that we carry the public on board. However, since that might be too late, given that once matters are filed, it becomes prejudicial to talk about a matter that is in court, then we need to narrow our scope. And I'm not a lawyer, but I would tell myself, if I was seated with the lawyers advising Baba, I'll tell them, let us narrow our argument to three issues: our sets of results, the results tabulated by IEBC, and let us compare where there are discrepancies, because we need to force two issues. One, the credibility of the election itself needs to come into doubt so that the judges can annul it. Secondly, we need to also show that the 50+1% was never attained based on certain issues that happened. Then once we narrow our scope to those two issues, we stand a chance of fighting again.
So there's hope. There's hope for you.
Of course, there's hope. I mean, Kenyans came out and voted. Like I said, the ball and the onus of convincing Kenyans to move forward rests with the NASA leadership.
Okay.
We voted. We were assured the votes will be secured. Today, what we want to hear and what we expect to be taken to court is how our vote was secured. We don't want to get involved in technicalities. If they get involved in technicalities again, we will all be lost.
All right, Joseph. Richard, have the last word on this.
Now, the question that we should be asking ourselves is, why have NASA moved to court? Have they moved to court because they believe in the rule of law? Have they moved to court because they believe that at the end of the day, they will receive justice? And again, what is justice to NASA? Because is justice only when the court rules in their favor? What about if the court rules against them? Will they accept the ruling that will be provided for by the court? It might be that NASA moving to court might be an exit strategy from the whole scenario. But let us wait and see.
Okay, wait and see. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Before you close,
please.
It is an exit strategy. This election needs to be drawn to a close. And the defined constitutional means is that if you are dissatisfied by what IBC did and everybody did, go to court. Raila has accepted to that. It's a good thing. And we will accept whatever outcome that comes
Then
from
we wait and see.
Yes.
We wait and see what happens. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here since 1 p.m. Professor Ray Tumbo is a political commentator, Kevin Asido, governance expert, Joseph Kioko, public policy expert, as well as Richard Tutor, security expert. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you here on Kivumbi. Next week is going to be a grueling one with the court proceedings at play now. The legal battles are what we are definitely going to keep you up to speed with here on Kivumbi 2017. So let's now take a look at international stories. South African police confirmed on Wednesday that